Okay, so this is Edifier's W240TN true wireless earbuds, and its asking price is $79 US. So do I think it's worth $79 US? Let's discuss about it in this video. Right, so as usual, right, I'll go through the accessories, the fit and comfort, the specifications, the sound performance, and then I'll conclude whether this is worth $79 US or not. Okay, so it comes in a box like this. This is a very nice premium looking box. The front, you see a picture of the earbuds, which is a good representation of the earbud. At the back, it's got some standout features lah. Okay, very small the words, I can't really read. So later I'll go through the features. Okay, then inside the box, you'll get some write-up, a charging cable, and spare ear tips. Okay, and of course you'll get your earbuds with the charging case. Now this case, right, comes in 3 different colors. You can choose black, white, and blue. The surface of this case, right, is very smooth. It's got this satin finish. It's not glossy, and it does not leave any fingerprints. Okay, so very nice. Yeah, press, no fingerprints. So it's a very nice finish. The form factor of this case, right, pretty small. It will fit my palm very easily. The lid, right, is very sturdy. Doesn't flop around when it's open, and the hinge is good quality. It stays there. You see, it doesn't move, right? And of course, when it closes, right, it slams shut very hard, and it's really sturdy Very, very good. Okay, I like this style of lid. Now in front here, you see a LED light. This LED will tell you your battery level, of course your Bluetooth connection status and all that So this light reminds me of Cyclops. You look at the moving light. At the back, you got the USB-C charging port and the reset button. Okay, you press this 3 times, you will reset the earbuds. Okay, now the earbuds themselves, right, is a pill shape type of earbud, and the faceplate is some sort of disjointed from the pill-shaped earbud themselves, which is good. I like this style of shape so that it gives me some groove to grab hold of the earbud when I'm inserting it into my ears. Okay, very nice earbud. Now the faceplate, there's no touch sensor. Instead, it's got a button. I love buttons. Okay, I love the tactile feel of buttons. Touch sensor, I cannot deal with touch sensor. It's a lot of hit and miss for touch sensors, so no thanks for touch sensor. I prefer buttons. So when I press the button, I know that I pressed, and I get that feedback, that tactile feedback, so that the command is being sent out. Okay, so that's the good thing. It's got an indicator here, left or right, which I like as well, and the nozzle is oval shape Don't quite like the oval shape, but it is oval shape. Okay, now inside this earbud, right, has got 2 dynamic drivers. One 10mm, the other is a 6mm dynamic driver, and that means you got good sound separation. Okay, because the 10mm is handling the bass and the 6mm is handling the treble. Okay, I'll talk about sound later. Now let's talk about fit and comfort. These fit me really well. Okay, they have got a very small form factor, and I really learned the trick on how to put this into my ear and give me a good seal every single time. 9 out of 10 not every single time So I will hold the earbud like so. Okay, push it into my ear and then turn 90 degrees, and that's how I get my seal. Okay, very easy, very, very nice. Okay, so the fit and comfort is good. I can wear this entire day. I wear this while driving okay, I drive the entire day, so I wear this the entire day. One thing to suggest to Edifier, this, right, has got the ANC mode by default. It's on by default. Okay, so when I put this in my ear, immediately I get a tomb of silence. Okay, so it's a bit eerie okay, especially when driving. It's quite dangerous also. So I suggest to Edifier to put the transparency mode as default So when I put this into my ear, I still can hear my ambient sound, and it's not like suddenly I'm in a very silent room. Okay, so that's my suggestion. Okay, so fit and comfort, no issues, very nice to wear. Now let's talk about the specifications on this. This is a Bluetooth 5.3 It's got all the codecs lah, except for LDAC lah. So LDAC is for the high res audio, but the rest is there lah. You got AAC, aptX X, HD, and all that. Okay, the Bluetooth signal, the distance is 10 meters, so pretty standard. Now let's talk about the battery. The battery, in terms of each earbud, right, it will last about 7 hours with the ANC on, and with the ANC off, it will last about 8.5 hours lah, around there. And the case itself will give the earbuds an additional 15 to 17 hours lah, depending on whether the ANC is on or off. Okay. So that's for the battery. Now it comes with ANC, as I mentioned. The ANC, right, I find that it is okay lah. It cuts off most of the sound, but some of the higher frequencies, right, I still can hear. So it's not entirely cut off lah. So I think the ANC is okay, but it could be improved. Okay, so that's for the ANC. And there's also the transparency mode. Wow, that one very good, right? So when I use this while driving, I turn on the transparency mode, and my music coming out from my car speaker, when I listen it through this transparency mode, it sounds as if it's coming out from my car speaker. Okay, that's how good that transparency mode is lah. So I like the transparency mode on this. For ANC mode, that one can be improved lah. Okay, so that's for the ANC and the transparency. And by the way, you can change all this by tapping on the button lah. Okay, and also there is the accompanying app, and this app, on the app itself, you can also turn on or off the ANC or the transparency mode. Okay, so let's just very quickly go through the app. This is the Edifier Connect app. So once you pair your earbuds with your device, it can be iOS or Android, is the same. Okay, once you pair, then it will show you the Edifier earbuds, the charging case, the battery level lah. Also, you can also adjust the turn on and off the noise cancelling, or you can turn on and off the ambient sound. Okay, and then over here you can change the listening profile, as in the EQ lah. Okay, there's 2 custom EQ. At the same time, you can also change the EQ bandwidth yourself. So there's a 4-band EQ system here, and at the same time you can add more bands. Okay, so it's pretty good lah. This EQ is pretty good. You can also change the Q factor and the frequency also, right? So pretty good function here. And then you can also change the or turn on and off the gaming mode, which I'll talk about later lah. So gaming mode, right, you will increase the power of the Bluetooth, then increase the latency lah, decrease the latency. Okay, so it becomes more in sync with the actions or the graphics that's been displayed onto your device. Okay, but I find that this app, right, is a bit basic lor. So that's it, right? That's all you can do, right? And then also for the control settings, you can actually customize it, but it's a little bit limited lah. So you got your call mode, you can actually assign the different tabs, right? So double tap what you want, triple tap what you want, press and hold what you want, you know, that kind of thing. And then call mode, you can double tap, and you will give you all the options lah. Okay, but I find that the options is a little bit limited. Okay, a little bit limited. They could add a bit more, and of course separate the 2 sides, this one and that one. Now currently is the same settings. Okay, right, so that's a very quick run through of the app itself. I hope that this app can be further improved. Okay, so let's talk about the sound performance of this. Now gaming on this, it sounds pretty good, right? The bass is really strong. The bass on this is really good, and I find that explosions and footsteps is really immersive. Okay, gunshots also. Now in terms of imaging, imaging on gaming is very important. I need to hear where the explosions are coming from, and I need to know where that footsteps are coming from, and it will help me in my game lah. So imaging and sound separation for this, right, is also very good. I can identify where the explosions are coming from, so that is a very good feature. And because maybe there are 2 dynamic drivers in here, that's helping, I don't know. But yeah, from what I hear, gaming on this is really good. For the latency, when I turn on the gaming mode, it's actually honestly to be honest okay, I cannot see or hear any difference in terms of whether the gaming mode is on or off, right? When I play Mobile Legends or Call of Duty, they look the same, they feel the same to me. Okay, maybe the gaming mode, I mean, is, I don't know, it just doesn't sound any different. Okay, so for the latency itself, is 80 milliseconds is very low already. Okay, so I find that gaming on this is very good. Now, watching movies and watching YouTube on this also is very good. You know, there's no latency. The actor and the voice, from what I hear, is all in sync. Okay, so no latency in that. Music. Now, listening to music is also a pleasure on this, and this has a fun sounding tuning lah. Okay, now let's take out my graph. As I mentioned, right, I've graphed this. So let's take out my graph and let's take a look at the graph, and I'll explain to you how this sounds in terms of music. Okay, so in my opinion, right, this tuning of this earbud, I find that it's a very professionally tuned earbud lah. Okay, it's got a good tuning, right? It's elevated in terms of the bass lah. Okay, but that's just about it. You can hear, or you can see, or I can hear that the frequency, right, is more of a very smooth type of frequency lah. Okay, of course the mids is still a little bit recessed, but not by a lot. Okay, not by a lot. This one is a glitch lah. So this part here is the 8K, so it's actually the coupler's so-called a peak, coupler's peak, right? So it's not measured properly, so I have to listen to it to actually see whether this is a coupler peak or not, and it is lah. Okay, so now let's talk about the overall sound signature of this. This is still a fun, more like a U-shaped tuning, so it's more casual listening lah. All right, I would say casual listening. It's not so much analytical and clinical type of listening experience, but so much so that, I mean, it's actually for gaming. It's good for gaming. This type of tuning is good for gaming. It's good for watching movies. Got good bass, and well, not so much for listening to classical music lah. Okay, I think in this real world now, a lot of instruments are not actually real lah. They're all synthesized. They're all engineered. Whatever sound that you're listening right now, they are not produced from a real instrument lah, most of it. Okay, so what I feel is that in terms of the reproduction of sound from these earbuds, right, they sound real to a certain extent, right, as from listening to live. Okay, if you listen to a live synthesizer, this will produce it the same lah. Okay, so in terms of classical listening, this obviously is not clinical enough, it's not clean enough to reproduce that kind of listening experience for classical orchestra, those kind of instrumental type of music, but it's still listenable. I mean, if you want to listen to those type of genre of music, you still can hear. Okay, it's just that it's not going to sound as real as, you know, what the artist intends us to hear. Okay, but for the rest of the genre, like trance, techno, heavy metal, rock, and those kind of genre, these will play them really well. Okay, except for the mid bass lah. I'll talk about the mid bass later. Now let's talk about the sub bass. Sub bass, the rumble is really good, right? It's got good rumble, good extension of the rumble, and it's got warm and heavy note to the rumble. So if you imagine, right, the rumble coming in and that earth shaking vibration comes in, that's the kind of warm, soothing rumble that you will hear from this. Okay, it is not really controlled, but that rumble is pretty clean, right? It's not a controlled rumble. It will bleed lah. It will bleed, but it's a very good rumble. Okay, now the mid bass, on the other hand, is a controlled mid bass. In fact, it's a pretty short mid bass in terms of the strikes. So I would say it's more of a tucked in type of mid bass, whereby the strikes, right, like the kick drums, the toms, anything that has got impact, they will sound pretty short. Right, they sound pretty short type of impact. The punch is there, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit short, and at the same time it's a bit fast. Okay, so it's a very fast bass, and also because this has got two drivers, right? The bass driver, which is the 10mm driver, is handling the bass itself. So that is a very fast bass, and you can hear that impact, right? Tuk, 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 tuk. It's very fast, and it's a bit short lah to me. Okay, but it's good, right? In fact, it is actually quite similar to one of the wired IMs that I have. Now let's talk about the mids. Mids, right? They sound pretty recessed, not so recessed as some other IEMs or true wireless earbuds that I've heard lah. Okay, there are some true wireless earbuds whereby the mids are so recessed that I can hardly hear the instruments, I can hardly hear the vocals. But this one is really nice. I can hear the vocals, they're forward. I can hear the instruments, the pianos, they are nice and clear, right? They are recessed, but you know, the bass is still the prominent frequency here, but I still can hear the pianos, I still can hear the violins. They are not crystal clear, but they are present. Okay, they are present, right? And they got the warm tone to it, nice heavy note to it. So it's not those thin and dry type of listening experience. This is nice and warm. Okay, very easy to listen to type of mids. Okay, then you have your vocals. Now vocals, I would say the male vocals would sound better on these lah. Male vocals, because of the bass, right? So male vocals, they've got good authority, good note weight, and that warm presence. Though they sound recessed, but they've got that presence there lah. Clean and clear and easy to listen to type of tone for the male vocals. Now for female vocals, right? They also sound warm. Okay, they sound laid back as well, but in terms of brightness, okay, now that's where I want a bit more. There's not much brightness, not much energy from the female vocals, and I want more. When I listen to my tracks, right, I'm looking for that engagement, for that energy from the female vocals, but I didn't get it lah. Okay, so that's for the female vocals. So I prefer listening to male vocals on this earbud. I wish that the treble was, the gain itself was a little bit more, so that it will give the female vocals a bit more presence, a bit more energy in the track itself. Okay, now let's talk about treble. So treble is the same as the female vocals lah. It's a little bit of a dark treble. Okay, this treble is dark. The gain of that treble is a little bit low. Okay, it's not a very high gain now. Okay, it's a bit low gain, so that's why treble will sound a bit dark, right? It's a dark type of treble. And cymbal strikes and the hi-hats, right, they will sound a bit blunt. Okay, it's not blunt to a point whereby, you know, it's not resolute. It is resolute. It's just that it's not a bright and bitey and crispy type of treble. Okay, it's the blunt, is kang, that kind of, not cha cha cha. You know, it's a bit hard for me to explain, but yeah, it's not the bright type of treble lah. Okay, that's good and bad. You know, for those treble heads, obviously they will find that this treble is a bit dark. For those sensitive to treble, you will love this earbud, because there's no sibilance, there's no harshness, and there's no shoutiness from this earbuds. Okay, so for the treble wise, it got good and bad. I'm on the other side. I want more treble. I want more brightness. I want more energy to the treble itself. Okay, now the extension of this treble, I find that the extension of this treble is pretty good. It's got good air, good transparency, even though it's, you know, not is blunt, right? But it's got good extension, right? So cymbal strikes and hi-hats, it sound pretty natural and extended. So that's the only good thing about the treble lah. But for me lah, okay, some people may like this style of treble. Okay, it's a pretty linear type of treble, but yeah, it's the same level as the bass lah. Okay, so that's what I hear from these earbuds. Overall, right, I find that these earbuds in general is more tuned to casual listening lah. Okay, casual and fun listening experience. It's definitely not for audiophiles who want to critically listen to their classical music, or analyze the details of that track. No, this is not going to be that earbud lah. In fact, I don't think there are any earbuds that can do that at the moment. Okay, so that's my overall impression and thoughts about the sound of this. Do they sound good? I mean, there's it depends on your listening preference. To me, I listen to a lot of trance. Okay, so I like listening to my trance and my dark techno on these earbuds. Obviously, I will not listen to my jazz and my classical on this lah. Okay, this is more of a fun listening experience. Okay, but it depends really on your listening experience, and if you like this type of tuning, then this is definitely the earbud to get. Okay, now in my conclusion, do I recommend this? For $79 and with this type of tuning, I definitely recommend this earbud. Okay, because most of the earbuds that I hear out there don't have this type of tuning. This is actually a very good tuning and reasonable tuning as compared to those other earbuds. Right, so yeah, that's my recommendation. I think that they are good to go. Right, so that's it for my overall impression and thoughts about this Edifier W240TN. I hope you guys learned something from this video or enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, do consider to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.